That footage shows just how out of control the situation at the US southern border has become. What you just watched was the moment a National Guard became overrun by migrants who were fighting to get across the border in El Paso, Texas. Now, reporters on the ground have shared more vision of the chaos that's unfolding. Those images emerged while President Joe Biden was in Texas, not to visit the border, but to raise money for his re-election campaign. But the battle over border security is not going away, and a controversial immigration law in Texas is right now on a legal roller coaster. For a few hours this week, the law known as SB 4, which gives state officials the power to detain and deport migrants who are entering or living in the United States illegally, that law was in effect, and then it wasn't. The Biden administration has objected to the law, arguing that the federal government has the exclusive power to enforce immigration law. Right now, the law remains on hold while the appeals court deliberates. But all this chopping and changing is causing uncertainty and anxiety among local leaders, police departments, civil rights advocates, and migrants who are waiting for the outcome of this court battle. Businessman Emil Michael has told Sky News immigration will be the #1 issue at the November election. Your story is a fascinating one. You moved to America from Egypt when you were just an infant. What are your memories of that time?
My memories of that time, my family's Christian, and there was a Christian migration coming out of Egypt in the 70s. And I grew up speaking Arabic, and I learned English alongside of my parents in the suburbs of New York. And so my memories were sort of trying to learn English when Arabic was my first language, and then going to visit my grandmother and all the family we'd left in Egypt there. And it was pretty extraordinary experience growing up in the US in a very diverse community, but not a lot of Egyptians there, and learning the country and the customs alongside of my family.
Have you seen America change?
Yeah, it's sort of impossible not to have seen the change from the time we came in the early 70s, lived through the Reagan era, and then came into the 2000s. It's changed pretty dramatically in so many respects. But I think the core of being free, capitalist, optimistic is still there.
I want to get your thoughts on the situation at the southern border. How do you feel when you see the crisis that is unfolding there?
There's a lot of sadness because the vast majority of the people who are trying to come in to the country are doing it for the right reasons. But at the same time, no country can take an amount of influx into its cities, school systems, health systems without preparation, without a way to integrate them into society. So the notion that we have an uncontrolled border is something that really, it's not even debatable in America. Everyone agrees we have to have a border. There may be some debates on the margin, but it's really a problem.
It is a big problem, and I know it's one that Americans are expressing their concern over. It seems to be a key issue when they're surveyed in the polls. How do you think that the migrant crisis will impact this election in November?
Right now, I believe it's going to be the top issue. Even just the visuals of people coming to the border and some of the crimes that have been committed by folks who've done that are going to be very prominent in this election, and a contrast between the top candidates. So usually the economy is always the top issue, and I would say that for the first time in a long time, immigration is going to be right up there with the economy as the top issue in this election.